We are live. Welcome to another CK podcast here on the Basketball Zone Cowbell Kingdom YouTube channel. I'm your host, Hield. We just finished watching Kentucky versus Georgia, and Anthony Edwards, the presumption's number one pick as of today, played very well in the second half, but he didn't play so hot, I would say, in the first half. But I also give Kentucky credit for taking them out of the game in some sense. But you just saw special written all over him in those moments of the game. And we'll get into all of that, man. I'm really high on Anthony Edwards. We're also going to discuss some Kings basketball, some Luka Doncic, my experience watching him this year and going into the locker room after the Kings lost to them last week. And then we'll also talk about De'Aaron Fox and his improvements as a basketball player, as a leader of this organization. And is it too early to talk draft? Is it too early to talk about, breaking down film on these guys? Are the Kings out of it? Is what I want to know what you guys think. Because it's tough when you lose so many games in a row and you have consecutive losing streaks all season long. I'll say this though, I'm still pretty hopeful, and I think that if the team can get healthy, then the Kings will have a nice shot at making some noise down the stretch of the season. But it's going to depend on health, and I don't know, man. Rashawn Holmes not being there, it scares me a lot. I really can't trust Bagley in a 48-minute game because of all his defensive lapses as a big. And every time you put into the pick and roll or you're lost off ball, those are tough. Those are killers. And we'll also talk about the Portland Trailblazers and Kings trade, which became official today. We should expect both Kent Bazemore and Anthony Tolliver available tomorrow night in Detroit. But before we get into all of that, this episode is presented by Climb Society Folsom. Make sure to join the 2020 challenge. It's still available, y'all. You guys can still get your 20 visits in. That's cryotherapy. That's taking the class. It's an amazing atmosphere, a great community in Folsom. They'll also be opening up very soon in Doco, right next to the arena. That's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for that. Also, huge shout out to Smile Dentistry. If you're looking for a dentist, someone who's reliable, someone who's done it for a long time, someone who shows old-fashioned customer service, but you want that modern technology, then Smile Dentistry in Stockton is the place to go. Valley Tire Center. If you guys want to lift your trucks, they're having amazing deals on their trucks right now on their lift kits. Make sure to call them right now or visit ValleyTireCenterWoodland.com for more information. Sorry about that. The Sacramento Kings. Last night was the most disappointing loss of the season, in my opinion. I felt as a fan, as a journalist, as a media entrepreneur, frustration at its highest point. I don't get very frustrated, but last night was one of those nights. It was pretty close to that Spurs loss when they essentially gave up the game. But he had a tough lapse. He gave up that three. Corey Joseph back-to-back steals, bunch of turnovers that led to that Marco Bellinelli three. It was as frustrating as that game. And I didn't think there was going to be a game that would top that game. And boy, was I wrong. That Miami Heat game last night was extremely frustrating. I can't really fathom what happened. Today, the last 2-minute report came out, and this time they said that they were correct. So that kind of made me feel better, because if they reinforce what we saw in replay, then all that does is anger an entire fan base. And that goes for a lot of fan bases that have gotten screwed all season long. But especially this fan base. The Kings have lost 8 games by a total of 3 points or less. And that's not even including last night's game, which ended up being a 5-point game, but should have been a 3-point game. Honestly, that would have been 9. And it just shows how bad and how frustrating of a year it's been. You can see the parts of this team that work together and that show what we thought we would have had from the beginning of the year. But in all honesty, I wasn't expecting all these injuries, and it's really hurt this team. I hate to use excuses, but the timing and the rhythm hasn't been there. You bring back one guy, but you lose another. You bring back Bogey for the second game. He was very rusty against Utah. He had a solid game, but he had some big turnovers in key moments. And to me, all of this, you just have to blame the injuries. I don't know of another team this year that has been this riddled with so many injuries. It's harped them and it's really hurt them. And it's been really frustrating to watch because it's contributed to a lot of the bad offense we've seen from Luke Walton's team this season. Have I liked how he's managed the team? No, I don't. But at the same time, I have to be honest. This is on the players mostly. This is a players' league. You have to be able to execute, and they haven't been able to do that. They have too many lapses throughout a game, and that's all of them. Fox missing free throws in big moments throughout the season. Buddy committing turnovers because he holds the ball too high. Sometimes he gets too cute with it. Bogdan, again, same issue. Sometimes gets picked a lot, and he makes turnovers just as much as Buddy and Fox have been doing. And it's an issue. That's on the players. That's not the coaches. Being careless with the basketball is not on the coaching staff. I'm sorry. If you want me to say Leo, you should probably say fire Luke Walton. But the reality is that he hasn't had his team all season long. His best player this year was Richaun Holmes. He hasn't played, I feel like, in forever. This team really misses Richaun Holmes, defensively especially. But the fact that he's such a great lob threat, shooting above 60% from the field, and not having that weapon to your disposal has been really, really hard to watch. Marvin Bagley has returned. He's looked a little bit better, without question. But you can still see the lack of frustration from a fan base that really wanted a Luka Doncic. Now, from what I recall on draft night, I would say it was pretty much split, objectively speaking, because you saw that draft party. I remember like it was yesterday, and a lot of people wanted Bagley. And now it's easy to say, oh, well, I wanted Luka. Well, no, you didn't. There is plenty of, we can go back to all our posts on Instagram, on Twitter, where everybody was on board. A lot of you are on board. Now you say you wanted Luka. The reality is you didn't at first. And we saw Luka Doncic come into Sacramento last week, put up another triple-double. Dude was amazing. I had a great experience after the game, talking to him, both Sam Amick and I. And he was shocked but happy when I showed him the picture of that Kings fan who had that custom-made Luka Doncic jersey. And he pretty much said, hey, man, can you send that to my PR guy, the guy that was right in front of me? And I was like, yeah, sure. But you saw that smile, and I tried to ask him on the record if he felt any different when he played the Kings. Obviously, he said no. Sam tried it as well. Obviously, he said no. And then after, when I put the camera down, usually when you talk to a player and you put the camera down, they feel more comfortable for various reasons, right? But I didn't know. At least I wasn't looking at what Sam was doing in terms of having his recorder out. And I guess he did because he got the quotes. But I thought we weren't, and I thought it was off the record when he said, I thought the Kings were going to draft me. They went to Madrid. They saw me play, and I was confident that they were going to draft me. That is exactly the word that I had from my source that was there, and I was shocked. 3 days before the draft happened, I was getting word that they were going to go Bagley. And I was like, whoa, wait, how? Why? Well, as you guys know, he came to work out for the Kings. Vlade really appreciated him working out for the Kings. You guys know that whole story, how if you work out with them, it's more likely for you to get drafted. We saw that. I couldn't believe it, man. I thought it was a nightmare. I was like, man, I hope this is bad information. Unfortunately, it wasn't. And 3 days later, it came to fruition, and the Kings drafted Marvin Bagley, which again, I still think he's going to be a good player, but never to the magnitude of a Luka Doncic. That's how it all happened, man. If you guys go back and you see how my demeanor changed, because I already had pretty much known 3 days before that was going to happen. And it was tough. It was that Monday, and the draft's typically on Thursday every year. It was, yeah, I mean, how was tough. I can't say who or how, but I remember that day, man, and I just saw that person, and I was like, man, dude. I still remember the day you told me that, and I was like, I was in shock. But hey, man, it be like that sometimes. How's everybody doing? Hopefully, you guys are doing well. B&M Prod is on here. NBA highlights. Browsing game is on here. Devin, what's going on? How's everybody doing? And if you guys do recall, I had Luka Doncic on my big board as number 1, and I had Jaren Jackson as number 2. I just thought he was just too good to pass up on in terms of just a great defensive talent. The best defensive talent I've seen since Anthony Davis in 2012. That alone should have made him the number 2 pick in the draft. That alone should have made him the best big in the draft, because I wasn't high on Aiden or Marvin Bagley. Thought there were a lot of holes in their games that we're beginning to see every single night. The fact that the Suns have elected to bring Aiden off the bench after his suspension tells you a lot. It's a ballsy move, no, without question. Monty Williams doesn't care, and it shows how much power and how much trust he has for the first time in a long time in terms of a coach having trust from that front office, from that ownership group. Monty Williams has that, and he's elected to bring Aiden off the bench. At first, he started him and Baines, and then he was like, man, this ain't going to work. Like, no way. And he's elected to go with Baines. We saw some really nice things from Aiden at that time where the Kings came back when they were down by 17 points, I think. I saw a lot of good things, but I saw those exact lapses that I saw in film back in his Arizona days. I saw them, and his motor is not the best. And that really concerned me. That did, especially from a big. A lot of those things could or were said about Ben Simmons, I remember, and a lot of the reports were that he just didn't want to be there at LSU because he was way better than everybody else, and he knew he was going to be the number 1 pick. His issue isn't his overall play. Ben Simmons' issue is that he can't shoot or won't even attempt a shot. But he's really, really good, and that's why he got paid the way he did. Tonight, Kentucky versus Georgia, we saw Anthony Edwards. I love that kid. 6'5", 6'11" wingspan, or 7 feet wingspan, and he's physical, he's strong, he has an NBA body, he's ready to rock and roll, and the guy wasn't great in the first half, put up 16 in the second. He's a bucket. He is a guy who can pass. Every time the double came at him, he knew what to do with the basketball. I loved what I saw tonight. At least in the second half. Again, and then I did see some lapses of him kind of being too cool for the game in some sense, which I didn't like. There were a lot of scouts watching him today in Rupp Arena, I think. And, you have to really insert yourself into the game, put your will on them, and just take over. Like, impose your will and just take over. period. He did that somewhat in the second half. I feel like they should have never taken him out for a break. That's where the game kind of, you know, swing the other way, and that gave Kentucky a 12-point lead. It went from 5 to 12 in a matter of seconds, which was unfortunate. And Edwards had to watch from the bench. Like, he didn't need to take a break, and that's the problem. Where if you play with teammates who aren't as good as you, then you suffer and you get called out or you get seen a different way. But Kentucky's a really good basketball team. Tyrese Maxey is really good. Higgins is good. Their big is good. They got a solid squad out there, and they should be at least in the conversation for the Elite Eight this season. They're pretty well rounded. You have a great coach in Calipari. I really enjoyed watching Edwards play today. He's so physical. He reminded me of a Jimmy Butler on defense. But I don't even. There's a combination of a lot of players that I see. He's just so explosive. Off that first step, I saw a crossover dribble behind his back, spin off a double. I mean, that was star. That was star all over it. Just really impressed. Really, really impressed. I think he's the best prospect right now, unless LaMelo just kills it in the pre-draft workouts. Love LaMelo, definitely right there in the top 3 as well. And then Wiseman. I mean, Wiseman is right there. I love that kid too. 245, has that Joel Embiid type body. He don't have that Joel Embiid type game, but he is very fast for his size at 7'1". I really like what I see from him as well. I'm going to give you a list of the tier 1 from the Stepien: Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, Cole Anthony, Tyrese Maxey, right? And tier 2, you got Nico Minion, 6'3", 190 pounds, plays for Arizona. And you got Killian Hayes, big kid, 6'6", 6'8" wingspan. So let me see the wingspan. So the wingspan on Anthony Edwards is 6'9". That's what he was measured at in high school. 6'5", 225. I mean, the kid's ready to ball today. Like, he'd be big today. Theo Maledon, the French, 6'5", 6'8" wingspan, point guard. He's nice. So, and then James Wiseman, 7'1", 7'5" wingspan, 240. Just like him, man. I mean, Wiseman, LaMelo, and Edwards, to me, are right there. They are right there in terms of competing for that number 1 pick. It's a really good draft this year. There's a lot of good pieces. If the Kings don't make the playoffs, then they do have the number 1 pick this year, and we'll be all over the draft. We'll be providing coverage as usual, as we did in 2018. Took a year off last year because the Kings didn't have a pick. I was like, man, this is a lot of work. You start doing it now in January, and, it gets pretty frustrating. Joe Goody said, not sure why they would ever take out Edwards. He wasn't that aggressive as I would like a number 1 to be, but he has all the talent. Yeah, fair point. Again, I thought he was a little bit too cool at times, but when he needed to assert himself, he did. And you just see the talent. It's just jaw-dropping. Like, this kid is really good, and he's just so physical. And I just think it's just going to click when he has better players around him at the NBA level and more space to work with. His release is really solid. It's quick. He gets elevation in the shot, and it's a wrap. I mean, that was an impressive second half, and it wasn't even his best. Like, that's how crazy it is. He got an easy 16. So, to me, if the season ended today, he'd be the number 1 pick. And then I would have to go. It just depends on who drafts, number 2 or 3. But LaMelo is nice, man. I mean, LaMelo's a killer too, and I'm a big fan of LaMelo. The other things kind of worry me. His dad worries me a little bit, not much, not like most people. I don't think that's a big deal. It's more of the lifestyle he's had since he was 13 years old. Take that back. His entire life. He's been in the spotlight nearly his entire life. So I don't know how much he's gonna love the game, and if that concerns me now, it's gonna concern me later. So if I see it from that point of view, then it does scare me. But from a basketball talent perspective, he can do it all offensively. He's such a gifted passer at 6'7". My God, I mean, he's special. He's a very, very special talent without question. And then Wiseman, he got the size, the tools, the talent. It's a really good 3 top tier 1 player draft. Really good. When is enough? Enough with Vlade. Will we ever hear? Will he ever be held accountable? He should be. The fact that he fired Dave Yeager after having 39 wins. And I said this. I said if Luke doesn't make the playoffs without knowing the circumstances that he's been, then I was like, whoa, he needs to be on the hot seat. I don't care if Vlade just got an extension. He needs to be on the hot seat. That was before I saw everything that has happened this season. And I hate to say it, y'all, but objectively speaking, again, going back to the beginning of the show, he hasn't had his team, and which is really messed with the timing, the rhythm of this team. The consistency from this team has contributed to all those things of them playing fast consistently and of them having a fluid offense, which we haven't seen yet from a 48-minute standpoint. I mean, not even from a 36-minute standpoint, to be honest, because once they go on spurts, they're really good. But then they have a lot of lapses as a team. So lots of good stuff that we can get into in terms of the draft, Luka Doncic, more Kings talk. Bazemore, Ariza, I thought it was a win just on that fact alone that Ariza got traded. Luke was going to keep playing him, and Vlade had to find a way to remove him from this roster. Ariza was just terrible. He was awful. I don't care what anyone says, and I don't care if that dude on Facebook, whatever his name is, man, says that he had the one of the best defensive statistics per 36, or I don't remember what stat he used, but I just watch him play. I watch him play live, and I watch him on film, and he's awful. He gets beat consistently. He's supposed to be a veteran leader, a championship leader, and he does the laziest things you could possibly do. Buddy Hield's bad on defense, but it's not a lack of effort from Buddy. He's just bad. Like, there are certain guys who aren't built with the length and the awareness defensively, and I don't think you can ever question his effort, because he plays like it's his last game every single game, and he leaves it out there all the time. I just think he's just bad on defense. But Ariza, who has a length, the size, he's been caught being lazy all the time. And I haven't made a video. I'm not going to, because he's no longer on this team. But all you got to do is go on Aaron Brewski's Twitter page, and he deliberately shows that all the time. You can't make this up. I mean, this dude is lazy. He's 36 years old. I don't blame him for being lazy, though. Father Time never fails. He should have retired 2 years ago. He took a nice paycheck this year at $12 million. He gets beat consistently. One thing is being the coach's safeguard, in the sense that he's comfortable playing him. He trusts him. He also has a great relationship, and the players know that in the locker room. He's buddy-buddy with Luke Walton. So that's not good. There's no way of sugarcoating it. Like, it's not good. Period. I don't want to hear what stat he did well on this year. I also saw him break a bunch of shots that were wide open. And I'm talking about wide open. Embarrassing. You got to hit those shots. The Kings for a lot of the years played 3-on-5 with Corey Joseph and Trevor Ariza on the floor, which has made Buddy Hield's season very difficult. He's easy to guard because of those things. Also, it doesn't help that the team has no flow on offense. They don't run enough sets off the ball. I don't like Buddy on the ball, and I've told him this plenty of times. So that, to me, is coaching. But then you do see a lot of good plays, right? Where I'm like, my gosh, I'm going to steal this play and I'm going to utilize it when I become a coach. And then I watch him and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm watching 24-hour fitness basketball. It's tough, man. It's just a lot of emotions going up and down all game long. And you're just like, man, why can't this team find some consistency? And the reason why I do know this is because there's a lack of basketball IQ from the players. There is a lack of timing and rhythm from the players in terms of not playing together. They haven't played together like their entire team. It's hard, man. We have these questions, like we know what the issues are, and I know what the answers to the issues are. And you can't control those things because you can't control injuries. Period. So you have to play with what you have out there, and you got to be able to execute. Period. Ariza had to go. Sacramento Expos says. Ariza can't finish, can't shoot, and has no athleticism left to guard. Nobody guarded him, which left Buddy to be doubled every single time, man. I mean, it's on film. Just rewatch the games if you want to, and just keep your ignore. There's just so much stuff going on during a basketball game. It's impossible to really see everything. A play that I pointed out at the Heat game yesterday, I said that last shot where Buddy airballed in regular time in the fourth quarter, he gave the ball, or I think someone gave it to him from the top of the key. He's posting up. He's taking forever. He's not making his move. Then someone hard hedges him and acts like he's going to double him. And the shot clock is running down. Why not make a quick move? Use your athleticism. So he just pounds the ball forever in the post because he can't use his leverage and his strength to back down the guy. And that's a problem in itself. And then he waits till the last second to give it back to Buddy. And then he takes a Hail Mary shot and he airballs it. You put your best shooter in the bad position from the very start. Those are the things that fans only see. Oh, Buddy took a bad shot. Are you serious? Like Bagley took 15 seconds to make a decision. You have to be able to make a quick decision in the NBA, period. I'm tired of seeing this type of stuff, man. It's such a recency bias type thing. People only see what they want to see. They don't see the whole development of the play and how it all happened. There's a reason why he took a tough shot. He didn't want to take a tough shot. He had to take the shot. A bad shot's better than no shot. I'll take that every single time. And I'll say this as well. When I praise his work ethic and his belief in the shot, nobody on this team would ever airball a ball, miss a shot, and take the shot again. Because no one's as ballsy as Buddy Hield is. Because Buddy Hield believes in the shot. And for that, you tip your hat off to him. He's fearless when it comes to hitting big shots. He wants to take the big shot. You can criticize him or you can praise him. He's going to do it. And all these other cats on his team, they don't really want that shot. Because if you airball a ball, your confidence is going to be struck. You best believe that. Buddy's confidence is never struck. He's going to keep shooting the ball because he knows that's what's gotten him here to this game. He knows that's what got him paid $86 million. You have to respect the work ethic, the grind, the confidence from a Buddy Hield because you need those type of players. And there are very few players in the league that would ever do the stuff he's done in terms of always having the confidence to shoot that basketball. Always. He doesn't care if he airballs. He just believes in his shot because he puts the work in to hit that shot. And we saw that back-to-back threes in overtime, got the lead for them. And then here they go again with just bad, offensive sets, man. Just call it the way it is. Just bad offensive sets. So tough to watch, man. Tough to watch. Someone says my friend said live stream seems like someone died, and I'm like, go watch your own YouTube live stream. You at Miami? Nah. Speaking of depression, you see video so sad. Oh, D West, man. There is a fund, I believe, for Delonte West. Very sad to see that. You never want to see that from anybody, right? Uh, and we saw Delonte West make the circles on social media, and it makes me kind of teary, man, because I've had family members who have been drug addicts, and you see that, and you're just like, my gosh, you had it all for you, man, and just shows that all of us can make mistakes. Like, we're all prone to make mistakes because we're human beings, and on this earth, it's a tough world, man. It's a world of temptation. And if you don't have your life straight, if you don't have your mindset straight, then you could fall in temptation and end up like that, or end up dead, or end up in jail, or other bad things. This has happened to people. Prayers up to Chandler Parsons, who got hit by a drunk driver. Again, you could be on either end of the spectrum, and it's sad both ways. From a humanistic standpoint, you don't ever want to see those type of things, and it's been sad, man. So prayers up to Chandler Parsons. Oh, man. LeBron not helping D West, I assume. I'm sure LeBron's gonna help him out, man. LeBron's a great person. LeBron's a great person. He does a lot for his community, and I guarantee he's gonna take care of him, or when he gets a chance to. So we've covered the Kings, some draft talk, a little bit of the trade. I expect Bazemore to be an upgrade over Ariza. He's gonna play some minutes. I don't see how he doesn't. I just hope that he shoots the ball better. He's more athletic. He'll be better in transition. So we'll see a little bit of an improvement. Will it be enough to win games? That's going to depend on Buddy Hield, De'Aaron Fox, Marvin Bagley, Bogey, Rashawn Holmes when he comes back. The main core pieces of this team. And I believe Bazemore will be a better fit. Anthony Tolliver, great human being. It's great to have him back in terms of being a positive locker room presence. That should help. You guys saw what Damian Lillard said on Twitter. He really helped him seek his faith again, and that's always important, man. So anytime you have a presence like an Anthony Tolliver, it's always a good thing. Much love to all you guys. Love you guys. Respect. We might have a show tomorrow after the game, after the Kings-Pistons game. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode, which was presented by Clemson Society Folsom, Valley Tire Center, and Gotta Smile Dentistry. Thank you guys so much. Support them the way they support us. Much love. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.